I could be wrong here. I probably am wrong. I probably am wrong. So if I am, I apologize for making this claim. But there is there's a specific type of person that perpetuates these patriarchal systems. And I feel so bad for them every single time. Because as somebody who's like stepped myself outside of those systems as a means of studying and examining them, I've realized how demeaning it has to be in that spot. And the person that I'm mentioning is the duff of like the male friend group who is always getting shit on. Like it's to the point where it's just like, this feels personal now. And my biggest problem is that if you start disrespecting me like that, like for fun, we can have a fade for fun. Fuck that. We can have a fade for real right now. And my just like inability to put up with that like petty disrespect has made it difficult to like I guess build relationships. Well, the people that I'm friends with, like the few people that I'm friends with, they don't be doing that bullshit to me. They don't be doing that like, oh, I'm gonna like pull the rug out from under you, or I'm gonna like punch you in the side figuratively when we're hanging around girls to like embarrass you. But back to the point. I don't know how many of you guys watch those dudes. You probably don't. If you follow me, you probably don't follow these guys. But if you've heard of these guys around, the Nelk Boys, there's a dude in there named Steiny. And I don't, like, I can't even tell if they like this dude. And I guess it doesn't matter because he keeps putting up with it. But then I realized people like Steiny, I feel like they realize the only way they're going to be accepted by such a, for lack of a better term, caliber of dudes like the Nail Boys is submitting themselves to like pseudo abuse or just abuse, because their abuse is entertaining enough to validate their existence rather than their participation in the group, just like as it is. And I don't think guys like that realize friends don't. And again, there's like a lot of money and experiences and whatnot being held between these guys. So like, I don't want this to be the thing that breaks it up. It definitely won't. Because it seems like Steiny enjoys the position that he's in. But I don't think those like guys in that position realize like the guys at the top of the food chain in those type of situations, like they aren't selling themselves out for like validation of peers. They're just the ones sitting there laughing at you. And they're like, they're but you're never the guy who's being told to. Like, is that not weird? You're never you're only the guy. And you can like, it's a little bit like the guys who say, oh, like women on like they go on a date with a girl and they're like, I paid for everything, now I deserve to eat coochie or something. Like, it's like, that's not how this shit works at all, literally at all. And you can just like, and again, I'm not trying to make any assumptions of anybody. He may love himself, but you can just smell the reeking, just like validation seeking and desire for acceptance. And just wanting to be like the bros. And it feels like a situation where it's like I'll put myself in the shoes. It's say I'm hanging out with all of my buddies. I'm in like high school and I'm hanging out with all my buddies. And my imaginary little brother, who's like in middle school or like an elementary schooler, has to come hang out with me. And like now we can't go to the park and like get stoned taking bong rips. Like now we have to go to like the mall. Or like the movie theater or something like real PG. And everyone's like, well, the lowest hanging fruit for entertainment here is just making fun of your little brother and then reminding him like how much he ruins all of us because he's ruined the fun that we could have had if he wasn't here. But then that knowing and that feeling will be internalized by this imaginary little brother. And the little brother, more times than not, as a vulnerable person who wants to be accepted, wants to not feel like a burden, will start to crumble himself into a very claustrophobic mold, like a cookie cutter mold, to be somebody that is worthy of validation and acceptance at the mercy of their own well-being, at the mercy of their own self-respect. And once you set yourself on that path, especially as a boy or especially as a man, once you set yourself on that path of like, I'm just going to keep selling myself off for validation, selling off for validation, you completely lose yourself. And the worst part is when you wake up, you've completely lost yourself and you've done a whole bunch of shit that doesn't even align with who you really are because you were doing it for the intention of being validated by other people at this point, which you probably don't even respect anymore. And these people not only got off with money, got off with attention, got off with validation. These people who were bossing you around and making fun of you probably got access to the girls that you wanted to, making fun of you, even though that's weird because like, why would you want a girl who makes fun of you and like is mean to you? That's like bad for your mental health, fundamentally. But yeah, I don't know. I just felt like ripping and dipping Steiny today because for people like that, I'm confused if the race will ever stop. Like, do they know that they're not even running a race? Like, they're on a hamster wheel chasing that validation, and the validation exists outside the hamster wheel more times than not, exists in your heart. And you have to get off the hamster wheel to even like be at peace enough to feel it. Like, oh, I have to accept myself first before any of these people will even as much as know that I have boundaries around this type of shit. It's very, that's the craziest thing about patriarchy and like leaving like the patriarchal cult. You're so isolated. But then you realize I'm only isolated because I've been excommunicated from a cult that I'm not willing to submit to. And then once you still tap back into your humanity outside of that, you turn back and you look at all those lost souls that are just like so deeply ingrained in this psychosis and in just sacrificing themselves for their peers, for men that don't exist, for illusions of masculinity that they're trying to aspire to be. It's just a giant mind fuck of rich dudes looking at vulnerable, traumatized boys and saying, you want to be rich, amazing men like us? Do X, Y, and Z instead of A, B, C, because A, B, and C would actually make you way more successful and happy than us. But if you do X, Y, Z because I told you, you're going to hate yourself for the rest of your life. But do it because I told you to, because there's nobody marketing A, B, and C like there's somebody marketing X, Y, and Z. And you know what's even worse? Like, these are the two scenarios that I'm seeing. And this is the two scenarios I'm seeing if Steiny doesn't get married and then just like shut the fuck up for the rest of his life. He's going to end up coming with a hit piece in like 5 years saying that like he was being bullied the whole entire time. Or he's going to be a Nelk Boys cheerleader thinking that like there's going to be payoff on the other end of this. Just like deeply enmeshed in the hope rather than like any actual knowing, really even belief that there is a future to this type of shit. Like you're a prop. And when shit gets hard, like when shit really hits the fan, like I know you have a family and you have, I guess, other people that you don't see on camera, but I think about you guys. And then I think about the men's mental health crisis, and I think about how you blame women for it. I think about how you blame trans people for it. You blame gay people for it, but like you never sit here and look at like, these are the social politics of men, of young men. Even hate to even say it like this, but young, successful, excessively wealthy young men who literally don't have any rules to follow. So hopefully that's not a clique that you desire to be in at all, because